Artificial intelligence has dominated the conversation, not just with gaming, but just in the whole landscape of technology. It is, after all, the next big frontier, and for corporations, the next big gold rush. And while we have seen some good implementations of AI, a lot of the implementations we're seeing, it's more about creating problems that didn't exist so that corporations can offer you a solution, and it's solutions that come at the expense of others. So with generative AI, for example, this is a technology that generates content by stealing from other people. It's a giant plagiarism machine. Artificial intelligence is replacing workers, and it's replacing art in ways that's yielding worse results. AI is causing the hoarding of RAM that has caused consumer DRAM to just shoot up in prices by, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much as they used to be. AI has ultimately become a tool with which companies are intending to automate everything so that they can take shortcuts, and instead of ensuring quality through real human artistry and craftsmanship and just general quality assurance, they're trying to make sure that everything runs through AI so that it can save costs regardless of the compromise on quality. And that's the thing. For all of the efforts and all of the trouble that is being gone through to implement AI, the end results are far worse than what we see when actual humans are involved at the forefront of, a product's creation. And among the best examples of that is the way YouTube's implementation of AI is currently failing a lot of creators. So right here we have YouTube's current CEO insisting that AI will enable a new class of creators who previously lacked the skills or equipment, trying to encourage AI-generated content. But beyond that, AI is also being used as a tool on the back end to try to handle things like moderating channels and content and whatnot, with YouTube CEO insisting that AI will make our ability to detect and enforce on violative content better, more precise, able to cope with scale. Every week, he insists, literally, the capabilities get better. Except the general consensus has been that the over-reliance on AI seems to have done more damage than good, especially for certain creators who are being completely screwed over by AI's inability to really give human nuance to certain situations and certain alleged violations. And one of the best examples of that is this content creator right here, Splashplate, whose content focuses on Pokemon. And what happened recently with this creator was that somebody re-uploaded Splashplate's content, essentially stole Splashplate's video, and that channel who stole that content got terminated because they violated YouTube's terms of service. But then YouTube's AI seemingly detected the original video from Splashplate and thought that it too was a re-upload of stolen content, when Splashplate is the original creator, when their video is actually the original upload. So what YouTube basically did was punish both the perpetrator and the victim, thinking that the victim is also a perpetrator. So here's what Splashplate tweeted: YouTube terminated my channel because somebody stole my content. Somebody stole a video that I created here and posted on YouTube. They got terminated, and YouTube thinks that I have re-uploaded their content even though it is mine and watermarked. And this right here has garnered 1.7 million views, over 17,000 likes, and it's a situation that has gone so viral that even folks like Moist Critical has covered this whole fiasco, or at the very least briefly talked about it. And Splashplate, of course, has been trying to reach out to YouTube and clarify this whole situation, but to no avail. So right here is a DM from Team YouTube. They didn't read the tweet, Splashplate, and says they didn't watch the video. They still believe I'm circumventing a ban. I haven't done anything wrong. I would give anything to be able to just talk to somebody about this, as opposed to these automated responses, which are likely being handled by AI. And this is the response that Splashplate got when inquiring about this whole situation, trying to rectify all this. Quote, heard back and confirming the channel will remain terminated. You can read through the email sent for more information on the policy. We know this wasn't the outcome you're hoping for, but really appreciate your understanding. There is no understanding of this situation. And this is not just an outcome the content creator wasn't hoping for. This is full-on destruction of their career. Splashplate, of course, kept trying to push back against this and trying to clarify the situation. But the most recent contact and communication that Splashplate has received is not giving positive outlooks about the future of this individual's channel. It reads right here, this is from Splashplate: I feel sick to my stomach. This is the email I've just received in response from YouTube support. They believe I'm still circumventing a ban and my termination is correct. This is despite all of the proof that this is a blatant error in their AI. I don't know what to do. This post has also gone viral with tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of thousands of views. The email here reads as follows: Hi there. please know that your channel has already been reviewed by our internal team and has exhausted all efforts and looked at all possible angles to determine whether or not your channel adheres with our policies and guidelines. With that being said, we have confirmed that your channel was correctly rejected and that decision is final. Unfortunately, we've already exhausted all of the support options that we can offer you at this time. But hey, don't hesitate to reach out in case you have other questions or concerns. Basically, we have no ability to serve you whatsoever, but reach out if we can serve you. The way you can serve this individual is by getting real human beings involved and really looking at the situation with nuance. And if there is indeed some kind of violation that Splashplate engaged in that deserves the channel getting terminated, you better explain that in detail. But currently, it doesn't look like there's any real explanation except, AI just flagged the channel, wrongly flagged the content wrongly as it being something that was stolen when it's the original upload and it was another channel that stole that content. And basically the original uploader got caught in the crossfire of somebody else copying their content. It makes absolutely no sense. Imagine a burglar getting caught stealing your stuff. The police arrives, arrest the burglar, and then arrests you as well for stealing your own property. That's basically what's going on here. And this is Splashplate trying to explain to the cops, I own this stuff. This is my property, but the cops are insisting that this is not your property, and they've exhausted all options to look further into this, and so they'll have to arrest Splashplate. It's like that level of equivalency. And this is despite Splashplate having plenty of receipts to show that the video was originally uploaded by them. It's like if you were to show cops your purchase history of the property that you own, and they still don't believe that the property belongs to you. And yeah, this is something that has gained major traction with news outlets like Deserto even covering this whole situation. And these kinds of false flaggings and false violations and false accusations is not something that is confined to one individual. It's something that's seemingly happening on a widespread scale. Something similar happened to this content creator going by the name Alexander Chase Carr, who had a channel called Chase Carr that focused on automotive content. And they kind of talked about the timeline of events where their channel, Chase Carr, with 20,000 subscribers, got demonetized for reuse content. They appealed. A human reviewer checked everything, and they said everything looks good. And then on November of 2024, they woke up to find that their entire channel had been terminated. Same content, same videos, but different result. The reason? Apparently, this channel was flagged for engaging in spam, deceptive practices, and scams policies. And then when they try to sort this whole situation out, they were met with a brick wall that is an AI bot who, again, has no ability to look at situations in a nuanced and human way. Now, Alexander does claim right here that they won a legal case against YouTube via a European Union certified dispute body. That organization is none other than Adroit, which is a certified out-of-court settlement body. So these are not technically legally enforceable proceedings, but the fact that Adroit is in collaboration with the European Union does lend some credence to their deliberations. And what they deliberated is that after having reviewed this whole situation, Adroit found that the termination of the YouTube channel Chase Carr was not carried out in compliance with the procedural and transparency requirements of the Digital Services Act. But the issue that Alexander's running into is that YouTube is ignoring that deliberation. They're, quote, pretending it never happened, and they've not changed their stance on Alexander's Chase Carr channel. And as of the publishing of this post on December 1st, 2025, it's seemingly been around a year since YouTube terminated this individual's channel. So this kind of stuff is not necessarily recent. It's been going on for some time. And so Alexander, in frustration, tweeted out, I proved them wrong, won the case. Again, not a legally enforceable case, but it is very much an organization approved by the European Union who looked into it and did provide a deliberation saying that Chase Carr was terminated wrongfully. Got the official decision. Turns out the real impossible part isn't winning, but rather getting YouTube to acknowledge that you won. The thing is, because Adroit's deliberation isn't legally enforceable, YouTube ultimately has no obligation to reverse their decision on Alexander's Chase Carr channel. Alexander remains frustrated at this whole situation and recently retweeted this post by Cat, who published an image highlighting tons of individual Twitter users who've been posting about similar experiences where when their channel started to grow and, monetization got activated and things started to go well for them, all of a sudden, YouTube decided to either cripple their channel or outright terminate it for any number of reasons. Primarily insisting that the channel is engaging in deceptive practices and are engaging in scams and spam, so on and so forth. And so Alexander's accusing YouTube's AI of essentially flagging channels that succeed too fast or go viral too hard or don't hit monetization too soon. basically these arbitrary circumstances that's getting a lot of channels utterly nuked in ways that feel unfair looking at circumstances. And even if it's not necessarily channel termination, there are ways in which YouTube's AI has consistently failed content creators. So for example, right here we have Spook and Jukes, who published this post talking about how in his last video, which is just stream highlights, he got age restricted for violent graphic content. And the timestamp that YouTube highlighted for this was basically this clip right here of him laughing. Yeah. It's just that little sound apparently is violent graphic content. And even when this individual tried to appeal that this is wrongfully flagged, the automated system or the AI essentially instantly declined the appeal. And it wasn't until this individual went into YouTube Studio and edited out that one clip, that one little segment of him laughing that was flagged as graphically violent content, that the video got monetized again, which is complete and utter nonsense and further goes to highlight that YouTube's automated systems and their usage of AI on the back end to take care of all the things that humans could bring more nuance to simply does not work. And that's been the common trend of AI usage that has been more about taking shortcuts rather than genuinely bettering society. AI is just not at a level right now where people can deem it to be trustworthy. Even Windows right now with their implementation of AI and Copilot and trying to make everything an agentic OS and trying to AI-fy everything, that's been poorly received because not only is it bloating up Windows a whole bunch and making it buggier and just making it less efficient as an operating system, but the AI functionalities don't actually work. They give you wrong information. The kinds of commands you want AI to execute are not executed properly. And when you ask AI for information, they often give you misinformation. And so we've been seeing a lot of these reports online on social media about channels that have been getting wrongfully terminated as a result of an AI bot's poor and completely nuance-lacking judgments that only further spotlight why AI is currently so despised, why the current way in which AI is trying to be implemented is just seen as utter dog shit and completely egregious. Now, I will say I don't know if every single story that I've seen online can be believed. I think there are a lot of instances like this that are legitimate. I've also been seeing like a lot of almost like spam level activity online that almost feels like a lot of copied and pasted text and a lot of the same like exoskeleton of the way these posts happen, where I feel like some of these might be fake. But with all said and done, the bottom line does remain that we are seeing enough legitimate cases of stuff like this happening where YouTube wrongfully flags a channel and the automated systems and AI and all that stuff ultimately making all that worse because there's no human beings to really gauge on a human nuance level what the situation actually is. All of that is resulting in a worse environment where content creators feel less inclined to trust YouTube, feel less safe with making YouTube their main platform. These kinds of statements from YouTube CEO trying to make AI seem like the be-all end-all solution to everything, how it'll enhance our experience and how it'll make moderation better, more precise and all these things. Like all of that just ultimately seems like bullshit. And yeah, I mean, it's stuff like this that gives AI such a bad rap. It feels like for every one good use of AI, there's like 100 that are awful uses of it. But of course, executives will try to push the agenda that AI is good for everyone, because if we buy into that narrative, then corporations stand to make a lot of money. But ultimately, customers will decide the usefulness of a technology. And right now, most of AI's uses have proven to be useless at best and woefully detrimental and a step backwards from the original methodology at worst, only further spotlighting that corporations' intentions with AI are not morally upstanding, not even a little bit. It's all about shoving something in our faces, regardless of whether we need it or not, regardless of whether it's good for us or not, so that they can try to convince us to help them make money. That's what CEO's ultimate job is all about. So they will present bullshit and try to sell you bullshit as cake. Hopefully the ongoing backlash against YouTube will force them to make some changes and to bring back some of the human quality assurance and human moderation that is desperately needed in YouTube's ecosystem right now, which is just rife with false flaggings and false violation accusations. But that's just one man's take. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on YouTube's recent statements and moves and all the reports of channels that have been wrongfully flagged and terminated in the comments below. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.